Welcome in. What's Right with Nick Wright, episode 385. As always, this episode is brought to you by our great friends at Boost Mobile. Damonza, great to see you. Great looking shirt. Weather must be gorgeous in LA today, even though I'm sure folks are going to be a little down as the Dodgers might be frittering away this World Series. And I have the hottest take. The hottest take about why the Dodgers are down 3-2 to the Blue Jays. Are you ready for it?
What is that?
The Blue Jays are better.
Oh, okay,
the Blue Jays had a better record by one game. The Blue Jays don't have a massive liability that is their bullpen. The Blue Jays are hot and confident and
bad on ball.
What'd you say?
Bad on ball. They're connecting.
Well, yeah, exactly right. Put the ball in play.
Yep.
And here's the other thing. We were trying to figure out how to discuss this for First Things First today, which is it is a clumsy, if you will, almost topic. Not clumsy topic, but it's unwieldy, which is how do you square this circle that we have seen this postseason Shohei Ohtani have arguably the two greatest games anyone has ever played in the history of playoff baseball. The 3 home run, 10 strikeout game, and then the 2 home run, 2 double, 5 walk game. We've seen that just in the last week. How do you square that with, and other than those 2 games, he's been brutal. Like, and last postseason he was banged up, but he wasn't great. But you can't be like, oh, he's not a postseason performer because he literally might have had the 2 greatest playoff games ever played in the playoffs. But also, and this is kind of a reverse. But aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? You don't want to, but the 2 greatest baseball games any of us have ever seen, arguably. But aside from that, he hasn't been good. It's really weird. And so on First Things First, we determined the way we're going to frame it is, because Brew's been calling him the GOAT, the best of all time. Has this postseason helped or hurt his quest for that title?
Hey, 9 extra innings is tough, man. Ohtani's pitching and he's hitting. Extra game. It's really rough on the body, dude.
So I do wonder how much of it is that. Is that of everyone, the 18-inning game took the most out of Shohei because the very next day, after being on base 9 times, he then also had to pitch. But listen, I think my prediction before the series was Blue Jays in 7. I think that's still what's going to happen because I think Yamamoto is going to pitch a gem in Game 6. And by the way, I wonder, you throw in the doc if you guys could look it up for me, what Yamamoto's World Series MVP odds are. I think before the World Series he was 35-1. Yesterday he was 16-1. Because if the Dodgers do end up coming back to win it, he's 14-1 now. So maybe he was, 16-1 in some books, 14-1 in another. If the Dodgers come back to win it, and Yamamoto has 2 complete games, 2 of their 4 wins, with Shohei cooling off a bit, I wonder if he could win World Series MVP. I mean, the smart money right now would be on Vlad because it looks like the Blue Jays are going to win it. But that is something. And I have been locked in to playoff baseball in the World Series. I think it's been great, and I'm thrilled we're getting at least 6, if not 7 games. So right now, Yamamoto's got the 3rd best odds, but it's Vladdy minus 200, Shohei plus 230, and then Yamamoto at 14-1. All right, let's get straight to voicemail, brought to you by our friends at Boost Mobile. One of those things straight to voicemail was the Blue Jays. Austin Reeves, holy moly. Now, I think it was, I don't want to get it wrong, I think Kenny Smith last night compared him to Jeremy Lin which is so wildly insulting to Austin. Austin's a legit excellent player. And they called me a madman a few years ago when I said I'd rather have him than Bradley Beal. Austin's about to get that contract Bradley Beal got in Washington that immediately became an albatross. Austin's been great. I do wonder this, and this will tell you a lot about the Lakers' priorities for the year, because when Luka's there, Austin becomes less critical. When Luka and LeBron are both there, Austin becomes almost wholly redundant. Do they consider selling super high on Austin to try to upgrade their perimeter defense and shooting, or do they look at Austin as Luka's running mate for the next 5 years? I don't know the answer to that. And a lot of that has to do with how good the Lakers think they can be this season when they're fully healthy. So all that, and then they have Nick's Halloween costume, but I'm not dressing up for Halloween this year. Your little sister's going as a Ghostbuster. So that's pretty cool. And
got
this
like a little
is
vacuum or something.
little
ray gun.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's a vacuum, but yeah, I mean, I think
vacuum.
it's like a ghost vacuum or something. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's pretty good. It's a good costume. I like it. All right, Damonza. Reminder to everybody: like, rate, subscribe, review to the pod. A lot to do today. I am also a tad bit under the weather, if I'm being totally honest, and so I'm gonna power through. Let's get to the Bills' annual Super Bowl, their regular season game against the Chiefs.
Yeah, it is Super Bowl week over there in Buffalo, and Buffalo's home dogs this time.
I know.
What do you think we're gonna learn more from, or which team do you think we're gonna learn more from in this game?
So, a lot here, right? And the Bills likely without Ed Oliver, which is brutal for them. The Chiefs definitely without their starting left tackle, Josh Simmons. I do expect him back, by the way, in November, but he's not going to be there for this game. Trey Smith should be back, which is important. Those are the maybe most noteworthy injuries or absences. For the Bills, the real question to me is, can this defense slow down what has become the most with respect to the Colts, the most prolific offense in the NFL? That's the question for Buffalo. And for Kansas City, it is actually a similar question in this regard, which is the Chiefs have the defense the last 2 weeks has been unbelievable, but you're playing Mariota and you're playing the Raiders. When they have played legitimate quarterbacks, those teams have moved the ball. Now, listen, the Lions only scored 17 points, but they moved the ball. The Prince and the Jags moved the ball. Baltimore, in the 3 quarters Lamar played, moved the ball. Philly actually struggled a bit moving the ball, but the Chargers moved the ball. So this Chiefs defense, can it generate enough of a pass rush without having to send blitz after blitz after blitz to disrupt Josh Allen? So those are the real... The focus is going to be on Allen and Mahomes, but as far as learning more about either of these teams, it's going to be more about the defensive side of the game. But I will also say this. If I were just to name a few, Bill Simmons or Mike Greenberg or Jim Rome or Joe Montana or Steven Ruiz or Dominique Foxworth. Some of these people are my good friends. Or colleague, or Colin Cowherd, my mentor and dear, dear friend. Any of a dozen people who in September or August definitively declared that the best quarterback in football is Josh Allen, I'd be a little nervous this week. Because 20-some million people are going to watch the Chiefs go to Buffalo in what very well might be the last time Mahomes and Allen ever play in that stadium. And I think they're going to watch Patrick put on an absolute masterclass. And I understand that it was very in vogue, as it is every September. And again, I have been very complimentary of Josh the last couple years. But it was very in vogue to just flatly assert, oh, Josh Allen's the best player in the league after the first few weeks of the season. And since then, he's been good but not great. The team has been just fine since that 3-0 start, 2-2. And right now this year, the only win the Bills have to hang their hat on is a Ravens win. That Ravens win that has not, I think it's fair to say, aged amazingly, because the Ravens were such a mess the first 6 weeks of the year. And this gets us to, Damonza, the rivalry question. So go ahead. I'll let you.
So like you said, this is going to be the 10th time that they face each other. So what would Allen need to do in this game for it to be considered a rivalry or a true rivalry?
So it is a rivalry. I don't think it's not a rivalry. It's the two best quarterbacks in the league, and it is two of the three best teams in the league over the last 5 years. I don't think you can call it the two best teams in the league, because I think you have to give Philadelphia its credit. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They've won 1. But it is unlike any rivalry we've seen in NFL history, where despite the fact that the teams are, in any given year, even, or one guy just has a slight advantage, early on when they were playing, the Chiefs clearly had the better offensive weapons. The Bills clearly had the better defense. The last couple years, the Bills probably had the better offensive weapons, offensive line, running back core, tight ends, and the Chiefs might have actually had the better defense. And one team has consistently won the regular season matchups, and one team has won every single one of the postseason matchups. And it is, and I, ranted about this on the TV show yesterday, so I don't have to spend too much time on it here. But people so badly want it to be Brady Peyton, and it has just been nothing like Brady Peyton. And it's maddening to me. Brady Peyton was the guy with the multiple MVPs. Peyton was the guy with the crazy stats. And Brady was the one with the rings. In this instance, and by the way, Peyton, in their third playoff matchup, beat Brady. And in their fourth playoff matchup, beat Brady. And in their fifth and final playoff matchup, beat Brady. Fact that nobody seems to remember but me is Peyton finished the Brady-Peyton playoff rivalry with a winning record. He was 1-2 with the Colts and 2-0 with the Broncos. But set that aside. Josh and Patrick, Patrick is the one with multiple MVPs. Patrick is the one with the gaudier stats. And Patrick is the only one that's ever won. So it is far closer to Jordan Ewing or LeBron Toronto than it is Bird Magic or Peyton Brady. What are you laughing
LeBron
about?
Toronto is crazy. Yeah.
Well, that's what it's been. Even when Toronto had the better regular season record than Cleveland, even when they were the favorite in the series, which people will pretend
You
didn't
said
happen, but
Mahomes?
actually
Is that
did
true?
in 2018.
Mahomes has always had the gaudier stats. I feel like some years Josh Allen was beating Patrick Mahomes out on
Well, no. I mean,
statistically,
last
right?
year Josh was literally league MVP. And the
Right?
year before, Josh had better individual numbers. But I'm talking about for the totality of their careers. Patrick has more passing yards, more touchdowns, fewer turnovers, a higher
Okay.
passer rating. And no. The last 2 years, Josh has had the better numbers. And the last 2 years, they've played in the playoffs, once in Josh's building, once in Patrick's. The last 2 years, Josh has had the ball in his hands, less than 5 minutes remaining, down 3 points, chance to go, slay the dragon. And the last 2 years, the Bills have walked off the field getting 0 points from those drives, and the Chiefs celebrate. I mean, that's just what's happened. And so people so badly want Patrick to have a peer, and he just doesn't at this point. And as far as, can this game change that? No. Would the Bills beating the Chiefs in the playoffs finally change that? Sure, but we're a long way from it. All right, let's talk MVP.
Yeah, how far do you think that this game will go in deciding the MVP?
Well,
and also, another follow-up on this. Could the loser still be eligible for MVP?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, we do too much. It's week 8, or we just finished week 8. A lot of people are still eligible for MVP.
Yeah.
You're not knocked out of it here. But Josh's MVP case right now, to me, is very shaky. And listen, I was on the record throughout last season that I thought at the end of last season he was the MVP. But right now, this moment, Josh's team has a good but not great record, but that's the same with Patrick. They both have 5 wins. Josh is, however, 20th in the NFL in passing yards. He is tied for 14th in the NFL in passing touchdowns. He is 9th in the NFL in passer rating. And you can say, well, we've got to, and we do, have to give Josh credit for the rushing piece of it. So he's rushed for 260 yards and has rushed for 5 touchdowns. The touchdowns more impressive than the yards, obviously. On that note, Josh has not, up to this point, played like an MVP. And the point I was making earlier, after he was unbelievable in that Ravens game, and he was unbelievable in the Dolphins game. That was the game after the Dolphins game when Mike Greenberg said he's never seen anyone play the position better than Josh Allen. Since those 3 games, those opening 3 weeks, he's been mediocre. Against the Saints, threw for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Against the Patriots in a loss, threw for 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and 253 yards. Against the Falcons in a loss was bad. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, a 73 rating, 180 yards. And against the Panthers last week, didn't have to do anything. And I mean, they won 40-9. You don't hold it against him. He threw for 160 yards. So it is right now, if we were talking NFL MVP as far as not projection, Damonza, on who's going to win it, but on who, if the award were given out, if we had a mid-season MVP, better candidates than Josh would be Drake Maye, who honestly I think would be the midseason MVP. I think right now, this moment, Drake Maye you could argue, has been the MVP. Drake has a better case. Jonathan Taylor, if we're going to open it up to running backs, has a better case. Matthew Stafford,
yeah, I was about
definitively.
To say, doesn't Baker, I know he got knocked out, but given the totality, his season has been equal, if not better than Josh Allen's.
Up to this point, yes. And so right now, if it were voted on right now, my top 5 would be Drake, Stafford, Taylor, Baker, and Patrick. And then I think I'm going with Jonathan Taylor as the MVP of that team. If it's a quarterback only, then Daniel Jones would have to be involved. Jared Goff, some would argue, and Jalen Hurts, I wouldn't argue, but the 20 touchdowns to 2 turnovers is something else. Yeah. And the insane passer rating, is something else. It's just his yards are so low. It's a tough one. But all those guys, set Jalen aside because it's such a unique case, have stronger MVP cases at this moment than Josh. All right, let's a couple more questions on this.
So you joked on Tuesday's show that if the Chiefs won the regular season matchup, that they might be in jeopardy to lose the postseason matchup. Are you at all worried about that with this game coming up?
Well, here's what I find really interesting. This is the first time these two teams, since Patrick and Josh have been there, are playing in the regular season with neither one of them in first in their own division. Usually both are in first. This is the only time that neither's been in first. And I do feel that the Chiefs historically have had an edge in the playoff matchup against Buffalo, Damonza, because Buffalo goes all out for that regular season game. And the Chiefs, to me, have a pretty vanilla game plan. They obviously want to win, and they've been important games, but a pretty vanilla game plan, and try to use that regular season game as a scouting opportunity for the postseason game. I don't know that Kansas City, or Buffalo for that matter, really has that luxury this matchup. Because
with folks being hurt,
neither one of these teams, say it again.
Oh, I was going to assume with folks being hurt, you can't get a real temperature test. But
no. It's because both of these teams are in a real divisional fight. Yeah. Neither one of these teams wants to be a wild card. Since Josh and Patrick have been there, neither one of them ever has been a wild card. Where you have to start the postseason on the road. Both of these teams, I'm sure, believe they are still very alive for the number 1 seed. The Chiefs get to play the Colts. I don't think the Bills and Colts play each other, do they?
So you're saying both of them are going to be going at it.
I would think
they're all.
Because it's the Chiefs lose this game. I mean, they'll be going into Week 10, the 7 seed. The Bills lose this game, and New England takes an even stronger hold on the division. So it's a super important spot for both teams, and I am pleasantly surprised that the Chiefs are road favorites. We've seen the Bills come to Arrowhead and the Bills be road favorites. The Chiefs being road favorites with what people were saying about Kansas City just 4 weeks ago is pretty stunning. And if you want my full pick for this game, tomorrow's gambling show, this will be prominently featured. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Week 9 football kicks off tonight with Ravens Dolphins. Check out these streaks from Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. You can find odds to bet on all these streaks right now on the Hard Rock Bet app. Derrick Henry has scored a touchdown in 12 straight games against AFC East opponents. I didn't know that. Miami has dropped 12 in a row as underdogs against the AFC. I didn't know that either, and that is stunning. Devon Achane has reached the end zone in 8 straight home games, and the Dolphins have failed to cover the spread in 7 consecutive games as an underdog following a win. All of that info available in the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. If you still haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but also an extra $150 in bonus bets. Plus, tonight on Hard Rock Bet, you can get a Thursday night profit boost for the game. Boost your same game parlay or SGP max so your bet pays extra winnings. There's new promos every day, so if you're listening to this later, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today, take a look around, and make your first deposit. All right, Damonza, let's get to Thursday Night Football as your Ravens once again try to keep their season alive.
I didn't tune in for the show when you said this. Did you give us like the tackle that turned the tide, like a little thing?
No. This is our producers being funny. All
right, so after this
good one.
After the spectacular
go ahead.
Yeah,
you say it.
Spectacular season-saving Snoop start. The Ravens are 2-5. And Lamar Jackson is officially back and understands that every game is a must-win at this point. We obviously need to win this game tonight. What do you need to see from the Ravens to feel like we can do something in the postseason?
You've got to show that this defensive improvement's real. Yep. They played way better defensively against the Rams. They played a very good defensive game against the Bears. And now you have a Dolphins team that seemed just dead. However, last week, that Dolphins team tore up the Falcons, and that Falcons pass defense has been good. And Tua had 4 touchdowns and 6 incompletions. They ran the ball well. Waddle got off. Like, that's the best the Dolphins have looked in a year. And part of the Ravens making the playoffs conversation, Damonza, is part of that's about the Ravens, and part of that's about the Steelers and the Bengals. 2 of the worst defenses in the league. Both 2 teams starting 40-year-old quarterbacks.
Right,
one of them, Joe Flacco, right, is now hurt. Say it again.
I mean, we're 2-5 right now. We're favorites to win the division. So yeah, it's
right,
a lot about the guys.
Right. And so it's kind of, we can talk about the Ravens just by being mediocre might be able to find a way to 8 wins, and 8 wins could win the division. And and we can throw up the Ravens schedule, if you are a Ravens supporter, you have to feel like we are going to win our next 4. Tonight at Miami, then on extra rest at Minnesota and J.J. McCarthy, then at Cleveland and Dylan Gabriel or Shador or whomever, and then home for the Jets. You've got to feel like we are going to be 6-5 going into our stretch run of 4 divisional games, 2 against Cincy, 2 against Pittsburgh, plus New England and Green Bay. So that is the math on the Ravens finding a way to make the playoffs. The logic, Damonza, on the Ravens actually being dangerous in the playoffs involves the defense having a second half of the season turnaround similar to last year. And we'll see if they can do it. As far as tonight's a weird spot because we have so little regard for Miami that it feels like anything short of a 30-10 bludgeoning is going to feel unimpressive. Like, if you really want to feel good about Baltimore, Lamar, in his first game back in a month, has to look sharp, and more importantly, the defense has to look excellent. Like, of course, you would take a 28-24 win, but I don't think you'd feel great about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I understand they just locked up the Falcons, or they did what they needed to do against the Falcons, but it would be a a letdown if Miami came and
Huge
hung
letdown.
around with the Ravens, given how their season has gone. 100%.
And let me throw another scenario at you of something potentially coming down the tracks here.
Okay.
Let's just say that in these 3 games this weekend, the Vegas favorite holds. Okay? So the Patriots, who this weekend, they're playing who are favored against the Falcons, the Patriots win. And the Ravens, who are playing the Dolphins tonight, the Ravens win. And the Chiefs, who are playing the Bills, the Chiefs win. Okay? And I'll go ahead and add, again, if we're just doing the Vegas favorites hold, the Colts, who are hosting at the Steelers, the Colts win. And we're staring at, going into Week 10, the Ravens are 3-5. The Steelers have fallen to 4-4. The Patriots have improved to 7-2, while the Bills have fallen to 5-3. You would be staring at the very real possibility that the Buffalo Bills win 11 or 12 games and are the number 1 wild card in the AFC. And the 12-5 Buffalo Bills first playoff game is on the road at the number 4 seed, the worst record of any divisional champ, and they are on the road at the 9-8 Baltimore Ravens. And Josh versus Lamar in Baltimore is game 1 of the opening AFC playoff game.
Crazy opening night, but
now let me say something else. Let's say the Bills beat the Chiefs this weekend. And the Chiefs fall to 4-4. They are then potentially looking at a wild card. And maybe they would have to go to Baltimore in the first playoff, in the wild card round.
Well, that'd be good for Lamar. I mean, if we beat either one of those teams going out the first round, I mean, that's the Super Bowl.
It'd be crazy.
Right there. That's the Super Bowl.
I mean, and so it's just if we assume the AFC North winner is going to be 8 or 9 wins at this point, they are going to be hosting a really good wild card team. Because the best wild card team is either going to be Bills or Patriots or whomever comes in second in the AFC West. So Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers. Like, that's a hell of a potential round 1 matchup. All right, speaking of the AFC West, we've got Denver facing off against Houston.
2 of the most unstoppable defenses are going head-to-head this Sunday. The Broncos are playing Houston. We've seen the last 5 quarters of Broncos football, but somebody's been pretty skeptical and kind of called the positioning that they're in right now. We're going to play a... Oh, we're not...
Oh, we got a soundbite?
I think we got a soundbite after you guys.
All right, let me hear
my
it.
flag on this. I think there is a chance the Broncos start like 4-2. And I'm dealing with a lot of chirping. Because they go Titans, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Eagles really tough. Jets, Giants, Cowboys. How many games was that? 8? That's 8 games. So I think they, you know what? I think they might be able to even start 6-2. Don't care. Wow.
I mean, you kind of nailed it. You kind of nailed it.
We'll see. But I thought that in that clip I had said they might start 5-3. I didn't know I said they might start 6-2. That makes me feel even better.
Yeah.
Let's save that for a potential Broncos spiral. I love that.
So you're standing on it. You don't feel any differently at this point.
This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. Bo Nix has been awesome the last 5 quarters.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter against the Giants, which might have just wrecked the entire Giants season.
Yep.
And the whole game against Dallas, which obviously I got stone wrong that Dallas game. he's looked great. If he plays anywhere close to that level, that team's awesome. They lead the league in sacks, and they allow the fewest sacks. The defense is great. Now, Surtain's injury is a real one, and he's going to be out a month, and that's significant. But I do think Broncos-Texans is a really good Bo Nix test, because the Texans, for all their struggles, have a great defense. And if Bo looks... Now, I think the Broncos could win that game in theory without Bo looking good. And because I think the Broncos defense... Yeah, I mean, the Texans
annihilate that O-line.
Such a mess. Right.
Yeah.
And Tunsil's injured. Like, that's a... Oh, Tunsil's not on that team anymore. He is injured, but he's on the Commanders, so ignore that piece of it. So I think this could be an ugly 17-13 game, but if Bo looks good against Houston, I'll have to take them far more seriously. Yeah. I find it very interesting that Vegas has no respect right now for Denver. The fact that they're 1.5-point dogs against a Texans team that's looked decent once all year is really noteworthy to me. With
a loss, Houston would drop to 3-5. If they lost, should they start selling some stuff at the deadline?
Yeah, I think that's a good take. If they win, they're in it. Like, this is a fork in the road game for Houston, where and Houston's weird because their wins have been dominant wins. They shut out the Titans. They beat the crap out of the Ravens by 34. They handled the Niners easily last week. And their losses have been frustrating. Like 5 points to the Rams, 1 point to the Bucs, touchdown to the Jags. The Seahawks game only 8, but they were dominated in that game. After the Broncos, they have 2 divisional games, Jags and Titans, before the schedule gets real tough, Bills, Colts, Chiefs. So Houston could be an AFC playoff spoiler as far as making the playoffs, but they have to win this game in order to do that. All right, let's go to Patriots-Falcons.
So the MVP race, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but it's down to 3 guys, Mahomes, Allen, and Drake Maye. Maye and the Patriots are going up against the Falcons, and it seems like they haven't exactly been on everybody's radar, but do you think that this game has the potential to kind of put Maye and the Patriots on everybody's radar?
For sure. And I understand Mahomes, Allen, and Drake are right now the 3 MVP favorites. I think at the midway point of the season, we can't say it's just these 3 guys. I think the MVP race can evolve over the course of the year. Stafford has a great case. And to me, a far better case than Josh Allen. Drake Maye has a great case. And when you're a great quarterback, and Drake Maye might be that, year 2 is not too early to be awesome. And Lamar won an MVP in year 2. Patrick won the Super Bowl his second year as a starter. Burrow went to the Super Bowl second year as a starter. Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl second year as a starter. Like, year 2, you can be great already. And the Drake Maye has been, since week 1, playing the position as well as anybody in the league. Now, so I think the Patriots are better than the Colts. I think the Patriots are the 3rd most dangerous team in the AFC. I think it goes Chiefs, Bills, Pats. But I don't think they right now have that universal respect, to your point, Damonza. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be hard for them to get it only because they don't play anybody. Like, all year long, they already had the easiest schedule up to this point in the season, and they have the 2nd easiest schedule remaining. They have, I think, 3 games left that can be statement games. At the Bucs, home for the Bills, and at the Ravens. Everything is, the rest of it is Falcons, Bengals, Jets, Giants, Jets, Dolphins. So the Patriots should have a really, really good record. This is one of the reasons I picked them to make the playoffs. And credit to them that post-Buffalo, they've really taken care of business. Beat the Saints in a game that's probably closer than they liked, and then blew out the Titans and blew out the Browns. And Atlanta, I just can't get a beat on whatsoever. Such a weird team. Yeah. Hey, guys, you ever notice how everything keeps going up? Rent's going up. Streaming services are going up. Favorite burrito spot is charging extra for salsa. Boost Mobile, though, you and your phone bill don't have to play the will this go up soon game. Why? Because Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan at a price that'll never go up. In fact, same price you pay for life. So switch now for unlimited wireless at a price that'll never go up, only at Boost Mobile. After 30 gigs, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 per month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan. All right, Damonza, let's go to Vikings-Lions quickly.
All right, so they're throwing J.J. McCarthy in the fire. They kind of did that soft benching and had him on the sideline. And now he's facing a Detroit coming off a bye with a paid Aiden Hutchinson, who just signed a massive deal. What do you think this game's going to look like?
I think Detroit's going to annihilate them. And I think that the Vikings are in real trouble. They clearly did not want to play JJ until he was fully healthy. That ankle sprain took a long time. They trotted Carson Wentz out there week after week, even though he was injured. And I think that, you know, J.J. McCarthy, we've seen him play 2 games in the NFL in 2 years, and he's played 1 good quarter. Now, again, the sample size is nothing, and they have good weapons. But if I'm the Vikings, I'm very nervous about the way this season could unravel on me. And I think it's already kind of unraveling. And you see...
And Carson Wentz is gone, by the way. So it's just JJ right now.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, Carson Wentz had surgery. Carson Wentz is out for the year. But getting blown out like you did by the Chargers is really disconcerting. And their wins this year, they beat the Bears in week 1 in a game they were outplayed, but JJ had that great fourth quarter. They beat the Bengals by 1,000,000 in week 3 in the first game without Burrow. And they beat the Browns in week 5 on a touchdown with 25 seconds left. Was that a London game? I'm trying to remember. Was that a London game? I feel like that was a London game. I feel like that was up early in the morning.
Who was
London game? The Vikings, Vikings-Browns. It was a London game. And so I think the Lions are going to absolutely put it on them. And that might show up in tomorrow's pick show. All right, Damonza, they want me to do a Halloween bit. I don't know what they
Halloween
here.
Version of Wright-Ins. We haven't done this in a while. We're bringing it back from the dead, back from the tombstone Halloween bit. So it's time for you to fill in the blanks on the scariest team in the NFL. Oh, crap. Scariest team in the NFL, the scariest players in the NFL is, and the scariest move a team could make at the trade deadline would be.
All right, the scariest team in the NFL. The scariest team in the NFL is obviously the Chiefs, and the scariest player is obviously Mahomes. So let me do non-Chiefs. I mean, it just is. It's not even debatable. So let me do non-Chiefs. The scariest non-Chiefs team in the NFL right now is the Packers. Because if Jordan Love keeps up this level of play, that defense can be so good, and he's getting his weapons back, their ceiling is crazy high. The scariest player in the NFL right now, I'm going to give, again, non-Mahomes category, to Jonathan Taylor. Because it just seems like he can pop for 60 yards at any given time, and that Colts offense has been unstoppable because of it. The scariest move a team could make at the deadline, for me, would be the Patriots trading for A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Reuniting A.J. with Mike Vrabel. Giving Drake Maye a legitimate number 1 and really going for it. So those are my answers there. All right, let's do some listener questions real quick.
Scott asks, why didn't you go to Toronto for the World Series and the Buffalo game? That would be a nice weekend.
I mean, that would have been sick. That is true. Going up to Toronto tomorrow night for game 6 and then seeing a potential game 7 and then on the way back home stopping by Buffalo for Chiefs Bills, that would have been awesome.
You would get cooked in that stadium, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be bad.
Yeah, you get fried.
It'd be bad. Yeah, I'd legit need like Fox
Security, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What's Stefan's question?
Stefan asks, can we get your trade deadline wish list for the Chiefs?
Listen, I've wanted Achane for a while. It doesn't look like they're trading him. The Chiefs have been adamant they're not adding a running back. I'd still call about Kamara. But I think they're more likely to go after a D lineman, particularly with the second-round pick, Omar Norman Lott, tearing his ACL. Let's go to Indy.
Indy asks, is passer rating becoming overrated? Mahomes' passer rating in 2018 was 113.8, and that was one of the best seasons in NFL history. Right now, Jalen Hurts has a better rating than that at 114.4.
So here's the thing. The new style of play, which is shorter passes, very, very good at avoiding interceptions, and super high completion percentage, kind of cracks the passer rating code. And it's made it, I agree, like, it is insane that the number of guys that have a passer rating above 105. Just totally nuts. And so I still think it's a good metric, but it's not good to compare era over era at this point because, to your point, to the questioner's point, the
Indy.
The questioner Indy, the high completion percentage, low mistake, but not a lot of boom plays is kind of a hack for passer rating, the way being a good rebounder is a hack for player efficiency rating in the NFL or in the NBA. All right, reminder everybody, like, rate, subscribe, review. Huge thank you to Volume and to Blue Duck, and as always to our wonderful sponsors, Hard Rock Bet, Boost, and of course Zen. We are back tomorrow with our Week 9. Can't believe it's Week 9, our Week 9 gambling show. What's right?